To the breakout session. This is the first of a few videos we're going to make. This one's called, So What's Your Theory? This is a music theory for those that are musically challenged. I didn't want to call it music theory for dummies because that could be a little too mean and not politically correct and probably already copywritten. So numbers, you know, like major thirds, perfect fifths, flat sevenths, 1, 4, 5s, 2, 5, 1 progressions, D9 chords, circle of fifths. It's like, holy moly, there's just too many numbers here. Do I have to be like a mathematician to play music? And the answer is no. And I want to try to cut through all the numbers here and help you learn it quicker. If you're a pro, this is probably not a class for you. This would be helpful if you were a beginner or intermediate, or a minor or a rookie in the nomenclature of the Guitar League. And I want to give a big shout out to any members of the Guitar League around the country that might be watching this video. So these things come under the category today of, I wish somebody had showed me that a long time ago. And I'm also going to try to show you the practical application of these things. So we'll call that PA. So first, you need to learn every note on the fretboard. Oh no, yes, you need to learn every note on the fretboard. So get yourself a chart of a fretboard. And the way to do it is pick a note and then learn it everywhere on the fretboard. And then the next day, pick another note and learn it everywhere on the fretboard until you've learned them all. The chart that I'm showing you, there's no sharps and flats in that, so it's a good start. But you want to learn every note, sharps, flats, and all the notes. I know when I started, they were saying, well, just learn every note on the top 2 strings, which is good, but there's like 4 other strings with a lot of notes on it. So you need to know them all. And what I would find that I was doing is I would, you know, I'd start from the beginning and work my way up the notes. So if I wanted to find a note, I had to actually go up or go down to get to that note. So you need to know where that note is anywhere on the guitar. So that's step number 1. Okay, then the practical application why you would want to do that is that when you're learning scales, fingerings, or you're learning chords, you're going to know where all the root notes are on the whole fretboard. So if you were playing like licks from scales, you know where the root note is and a place that you can resolve to. So that's one of the many reasons why you'd want to do that. And I pretty much guarantee you, if you do this, you're going to expedite the speed in which you learn guitar, if you take the time to learn this. And one other thing you should do is, at night when you get home after a rough day and you lay down in bed before you go to sleep, picture the fretboard and do that same exercise of trying to find every note on the fretboard. Pick a note and try to find it everywhere on the fretboard. And first of all, you won't be thinking about all your troubles because it's hard enough to do that. So you'll be straining your brain, and then eventually you're going to go to sleep and you're going to remember those things. There's a connection, obviously, between your head and your 2 hands. So your brain is going to come down to this hand and tell it what to do, and then it has to come back up through your brain over to this hand to tell it what to do. And so you can short circuit that a lot by having that all in your brain already. Okay, so now there's a lot of numbers which I pointed out at the beginning. There's numbers that are used for notes and scales. And we're going to use Arabic numbers for those. And then there's numbers that they use for chord progressions, and we're going to use Roman numerals for those. So we're going to start with the C scale, which everybody does because there's no sharps and flats, and it's easy to do. So the C scale is C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Okay? So you would number that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 is an octave high. C, the 8 is the C an octave higher. The root note of a scale, and the third note of a scale, and the fifth note of a scale create a major chord. So in this case, you have a C, E, and a G. If you play them together, it's a C major chord. You can play them anywhere on the fretboard or keyboard, it's a C major chord. In the Nashville numbers, they use Roman numerals to number the chords. So in the key of C, you have a chord progression in the scale. So that would be C, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, B diminished, and C, back to C again, an octave higher. So the 1, the 4, and the 5 chord, as you numbered those, that would be the C, F, and G. Those are major chords. And they're always major chords. They could be substituted with 7s and 9s and other fancy things, but they're major chords. And then the 2 chord, the 3 chord, and the 6 chord are always minor chords. Okay? And the 7th chord is a diminished chord, but you can use a minor chord to replace it. If I had a keyboard with all the notes labeled on it, I could show you why that works that way. Oh, wait a minute, I do have one. So hold on, let me go get it. So, can you see this okay? I want to show you the C scale and the C scale of chords. So we're at middle C on a keyboard. So it's the C scale is C, D, E, F, G, A, B. C is an octave higher. So we would number them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 is 8 tones higher as an octave. Notice there's grouping, there's spaces between, there's a pattern to the scale. And that would be that there's a whole tone, there's a flat in the middle there. So we're going to call that a whole tone, a half, a whole, a whole, a whole, and a half. That pattern will show up in a major key every time. It'll look different because you have flats in there, but it's the same pattern. Now the chord pattern in the key of C, we're going to take the first note, the third note, and the fifth note, and we're going to use that shape. And that's a C major chord. So if you play a C, an E, and a G anywhere on the keyboard, that's a C major chord. Now, you'll see why that the chord progression works the way it does. We're going to take this same shape, C, we're going to move it up 1, it becomes D minor. We're going to move it up another one, that becomes E minor. And then it becomes F major, G major, A minor, B diminished, and back to C. Okay, we're back. We're going to talk for just a second about the circle of fifths, more numbers. What the circle of fifths shows you is that all the sharps or flats in any key. It also shows you what the relative minor key is, or chord in a scale. So, let's just real briefly, you have a chart there. Take a look at C sharp. We're going from C with no sharps and flats to C sharp with like 7 sharps in it. That's like, crazy. Can you remember all those sharps? I don't know, it's tough. So I'm going to show you, that's also D flat, same scale, and there's like 5 flats in D flat. So it's confusing. But I'm going to show you a way to skip past all of that stuff so you don't have to clutter up your pretty little head with it. So also I'm going to show you how to find your relative minor in any key. Okay, so let's start with that. The relative minor in any key is really simple. In your chord progression, okay, like let's say in the key of C, the 6th chord in that is an A minor, and that is the relative minor chord. It's always the 6th chord in a scale. And the beauty of that is, when you learn scales, like you learn a C scale, that works over A minor. It's the same notes. Basically, you just start on an A rather than a C, but it's basically the same thing. So what I want to show you is, we're not going to work on a lot of scales today, but I do want to show you one basic scale shape so that you can figure out a lot of stuff with this, okay? So you remember back on the piano, I showed you that there were like whole steps and half steps. Well, it works the same way on a guitar neck. So let's take a very basic C major scale, which we're going to start on the 5th string, 3rd fret, which is C. And then we're going to go up a whole step to D. We're going to go up a whole step to E. We're going to go up a half a step to F, a whole step to G, a whole step to A, a whole step to B, and a half a step to C. So that shape, and you should have a little chart for that. That shape, that's an important shape right there, because that can be moved, like a lot of things, all over the fretboard. For today's class, it's kind of important, because we're going to get to transposing keys quickly here. Okay, so in the key of C, that's the shape. If you moved up a whole tone to D and did that same shape, that's D, and so on. And if you went up to the fat string on the 3rd fret, that's G. And if you did that same pattern, that's a G scale. So let us take, let's show you a G scale. So you got G, A, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. So numbering those things again, it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? So the sixth note here is an E, which means in G, E minor is the relative minor. Okay? So again, any notes in G are going to work in E minor. But the other important thing that I wanted to show you, we numbered these like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so if you notice that the 1 on the top string, right below the 1 is the 4. And 1 step up from the 4 is the 5. This is an important thing right here. So let's say we moved up to A, same thing. This scale's going to move all the way up. We moved up 2 frets, now we're at A. So the A, D, E, 1, 4, 5. Okay, this is going to come back when we transpose keys. So let's transpose. Let's say, for instance, if we're playing in the key of C, the 1, 4, 5 progression in the key of C would be C, F, and G. Okay, now we want to change that to G. So that's going to be G, C, and D. G, C, D. See the 1, the 4, and the 5. Can you see that? So G, C, D. 80% of rock and roll and country music and stuff are 1, 4, 5 blues progressions. So you'll be using this a lot. So the beauty of this 1, 4, 5 thing that I'm showing you right now is the 1 is here. The string right below it is going to be the 4, and 2 frets up is going to be the 5 everywhere. And so it works all the way up the top string, all the way up the second string. So for instance, key of C, F, G. And when you learn all these notes, then it's going to make a lot of sense to you, right? If you know every note on the fretboard. Okay, so that's what I'm showing you. Another way to transpose keys, rather than writing down the whole scales and then figuring out what are the same chords, then this little 1, 4, 5 thing can really help you on the fly. So why do I need to know this kind of stuff? Well, let's say you go to a jam and you're playing with other instruments that there's no guitar players there. There might be a banjo, violin, keyboard player, and you might know a song or don't know a song, but they say, we're going to play this song in the key of A, okay? So, and you've never heard the song, let alone played it in A. So somebody might call out and say, you know, this is going to be a 1, 4, 1, 4, 1, 5 in the key of A. And you go, uh-oh, I don't know what that is. But if you just come right to A, go below it to D, go up 1 step to E, now you know what the 1, 4, 5 is in A. Okay? So that'd be A, D, E. Right? Those are the chords that are going to be in that progression. Okay, so now, just when you're ready to start, you figured that out. They go, now, let's do that in B flat. You go, uh-oh. So, if you know every note on the keyboard, on the fretboard, you'll come, you know where B flat is, and you know that right below B flat is E flat, and up 2 is F. So those are going to be the chords if they throw a B flat at you, okay? And then let's say somebody comes in and they're a jazz guy, so they go, okay, we're going to do a 2, 5, 1 progression in A. And now you're really going, whoa, wait, what is that? Okay, well, you know, first of all, you know that A is the key, so that's the 1. So you go to A, and then it's a 2, 5, 1. So if I go up 1 step to the second note in that scale, that's a B. And we remember that the second is always a minor chord. And then what is the 5th then? It's going to be right here. It's going to be an E. So a 2, 5, 1 is going to be a B, E, A. But in jazz, it's obviously going to be a little jazzier. So you go B minor, probably an E9, and maybe some kind of an A major 7 kind of thing, like that. can transpose it like really quickly. I hope you got the message on this. There's some charts that I give you on there. But it's really simple that the 1, 4, 5 is always in the same place. And so you can think about it on the fly. When somebody throws some changes at you, you can just figure it out real quick. So I'm hoping this helps you a little bit. If you like this kind of stuff, I've got more coming. If you like this kind of stuff, please hit the like button and also the subscribe button. And I'm going to have more of these breakout sessions coming up shortly to go further on down the line now. So practice, learn every note on the keyboard, and we'll be back. Thanks for watching.